Hey, stranger. Surprised you found me out here. Feel free to take a seat by the fire. We got all day. The other day, I was kind of just thinking how, sitting by the fire with loved ones, friends, everyone you really knew, that was kind of just the norm for, our distant ancestors. And, it wasn't a one-time thing either. It was every night, everyone would gather together, cook meals together, dance, sing, tell stories. It's funny to think that all these years later, thousands of years into the future, we have every luxury we could possibly imagine. But the one thing we're missing is something that we actually started with. And that's the community around the campfire every night. Despite, all the modern advances in medicine and insane technology, I have the knowledge of all humanity at my fingertips pretty much at any point of any day. And yet, the one thing everyone, I don't know about everyone, but certainly most people these days struggle with is feeling alone. I remember hearing somewhere that people nowadays only have one, maybe two close friends. When not so long ago, it wouldn't be uncommon to have, friend groups of 5, 6, maybe even 8 people, Sometimes I wonder if, our distant cavemen ancestors even really felt the kind of loneliness that we feel today. I do like to think that at some point it all kind of comes back to this. Friends, family, around a campfire. I hope that, someday in the distant future, it becomes just a regular thing. That, we come full circle and eventually just start coming out, in the masses with each other. Have a chance to take a break from our super busy lives and actually get to enjoy the nature. The warmth of a fire and the company of your trusted friends. Do you guys ever get to a point in your doom scrolling where you kind of start to just try and find videos that soothe your brain a little bit? Eventually it gets kind of exhausting hearing all these loud, aggressive grabs at my attention and all the desperation to keep me watching whatever video it may be. And eventually, at some point after maybe, honestly, probably an hour, maybe even 2 of just scrolling, I eventually start to find something that I kind of wish was always the case when I was scrolling. I get to these videos where it's just a guy running through Minecraft talking about life. I really enjoy the philosophical ones as well, the little witty moments of wisdom. And I think the reason that, I enjoy those low edited, kind of low effort, honestly, videos of just, people talking about life and just enjoying themselves, is because it kind of brings me back to what I think this moment would have been all about. Sitting by the fire, just talking. I think it's important to give ourselves a little bit of grace with this whole loneliness thing. I found, when I was at my loneliest moments in life, the first person to blame was often myself. When, in reality, I was doing my best. I've always kind of valued the connections I had with people, and I found myself wishing to make more. But at a certain point, it's just kind of the structure of the world we're living in that makes something that used to be, automatic, something so difficult now. I think, especially, sure, you can make friends online and stuff, but I think the big one, especially for, younger guys these days, is finding a partner. I think it's safe to say that it's never been this hard. Isn't that crazy? The thousands of years humanity's been around, and at no point has it ever been even close to as hard as it is now to find love in this world. I think, at the very least, you gotta give yourself a little bit of credit. And I really do think that as people, we're better when we have a partner. Of course, there was that longest study on human happiness, and the number one determining factor of a happy life was having a lifelong partner. The number one thing ensuring a happy and even healthy life was having that someone. And sure, we don't have to hunt for our own food or, break our backs in the fields all day, but what we lost was a chance at that community, and sadly for a lot of us, the chance at finding that someone. It seems that, weirdly, the only way to really, find someone these days is through a dating app, which, is kind of just a small, hyper-competitive pond of, small subset of people. And, especially for me, when I was fully on the dating apps, it was extremely, extremely hard blow to the self-confidence. I really don't think that people were meant to handle that level of rejection. If my younger self kind of came to me asking for advice, I, despite the years of extra wisdom I have, I don't really know what I could really offer him. Obviously, I'd say keep trying with the dating apps, eventually After enough time, surely it would work. But I think what it really comes down to in the modern world is you gotta just have a lot of grace for yourself. You really gotta have that patience and be that comforting force in your own life. Try and find the things that are the most healing for you, and just take it one day at a time. I think the main thing that you really can do in a time like this is just to recognize how incredibly difficult it is. How there's nothing inherently wrong with you for being alone in the modern world, and that it's kind of just how the way things are these days. So if you're feeling a little alone today, I hope listening to this video kind of helped you out a little bit. I know it was nice for me to kind of reflect on these things a little bit, so I appreciate you sticking around if you did. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.